Hi, Rick.
Hey, Carrie.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Doing
Better.
okay. Yeah, thank you. Better every day. I guess we're waiting. My camera is Haley's got the con for the camera, so she'll show you my face when she's ready, I guess, or you.
Carrie, you should be able to turn your camera on. I did make you a co-host.
Okay, let's try it again. Thanks, Haley.
You're welcome.
There we go. Here I am. Hi. Hi, Haley. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joan.
Hi,
How are you?
Hey, John.
I just got home. That's fun.
Chilly out there.
A little chilly, lots of traffic in the square too, so
Oh,
I think there was an accident on Salem Street, so
Uh,
makes it all extra fun.
that's right. Extra obstacles. Hi, Sophie.
Hey everyone.
hey, so-
Oh, hi, Sal.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
So,
Hey Joan.
hey, Sam.
Hey, hey Rich,
Hey.
Sophie, everybody.
So I think we can actually get started and call the meeting to order. Kevin Sexton will be joining us around 7:30.
Yeah.
Sophie has to leave at 8, and I don't think Deet is joining us tonight. So that's the plan. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. If we could just do a roll call. Sal,
Yes,
Carrie,
Here.
yeah. Right.
Sophie,
Here.
Joan,
here,
and Rick Lopez here. Great. In terms of the agenda tonight, we're going to approve the minutes from last month. We're going to do a public comment, and then Ade and I had a discussion, and we think we should move the agenda item 7, the MBTA turnaround track update, to follow public comment, because I think that we have a lot of public comment around that issue, and just in terms of the flow of the meeting, it would make sense to have that discussion, that board discussion then. And then we have a couple regulation discussions around the hauler that we talked about last time, and a new discussion around private well regulations. And then we'll wrap up with the usual monthly report and comments and so forth. So that's the plan. So starting with the minutes from September 11th, 9/11. Were there any changes, adjustments? Carrie, yes.
Yeah, I had 2 comments. First one, just a spelling one. There's a town council SEL, and then right after it, there's a town council, which can happen. But and sorry, that's in the. Sorry, I don't have that open. I think it's in the first paragraph. You see it, Haley? Yeah, thanks. And then the other one is I just wanted to clarify. I don't think my intent of what I was asking for with our with the role of the Board of Health was I don't know if I communicated it clearly. The way the minutes read, it sounds like I was I read it to sound like we're saying that the board doesn't need to approve. That wasn't my intent. My intent was that the permits need to be approved, and that I was saying that the I don't see the need for the permit applicants to have to come to the meeting, that I was envisioning a agenda item from a day, saying these are the permits that we've received, I've reviewed them, and they, you know, comport with all of our requirements, et cetera, and then we could have a vote and approve. That was my intent, and I just am concerned that the minutes maybe make it sound like I was trying to you know, give up some Board of Health authority, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think I think we were actually saying the same thing, Carrie. Like, we didn't want them to have to wait 30 days to come before
Right.
us. That was it.
Right,
right.
yeah. So if I don't, I'm sorry, I don't have language to button it up tighter, but I see you nodding, Haley, and I see you a
I'll
day,
make
so,
the change, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll make the necessary changes. So
okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Great. Anyone else?
Mhm.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 9/11, including the changes in terms of the two changes that Kerry raised, which will be adjusted. So do I have a second?
Second,
Second. Yep.
Joan gets it.
Second. Sal,
Yes.
Kerry,
Yes,
Joan,
yes.
and Rick, yes. Okay, so the minutes are approved. So now we're going to move into public comment. And what I wanted just to preface this segment with is a couple things. One is the logistics that we always do, and that is that when someone is providing comment, that they give their full name and their street address. And we would ask that they limit their comments to 2 minutes. And Haley will be monitoring that and let us know when the 2 minutes are up. Also, in the public comment section, we listen carefully to the comments, but it is not a period of dialogue with the board. It's really for the board to hear the concerns of the residents and then factor that into our future deliberations or our deliberations tonight. And then finally, I think we have a number of residents who are going to comment on the MBTA turnaround track issue. And having watched the select board meeting and the Conservation Commission meetings, I know that there are a lot of comments to make. And I know that this controversy has a lot of different parts to it in terms of, you know, everything from its need to happen based on volume and finances to, you know, issues in the conservation lands to increased crossings and health issues. And it goes on, and alternative plans. I mean, there are a lot of different aspects to this discussion. And what I wanted to ask the folks, if you are commenting on this particular issue, that you try to focus your comments on the purview of the Board of Health, which is around public health, and specifically in this case, I think around the air quality issue and the noise issue. And so that would be helpful and more focused for us, because those are the areas that we plan to think about, talk about tonight, and address. So with those sort of setting the framework here, Haley is going to sort of let individuals speak, and some folks have sent emails and others, but we'll start. And Haley, why don't you go ahead and start with the first resident?
Okay, I'm going to have Lucas speak first.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Just I guess I'll leave my camera off. It wouldn't go on. Sorry. Sorry, Lucas Prado, 85 Hancock Street. Good evening. I hope all is well and you all had a great summer. If you have been following us, you know we have created a Reading Turnback Track Committee, RTC. This group is in main reason why the MBTA has made it to your agenda is probably stemming back from January or February. Our concern is not only with the proposed turnback track location, but the troubling way information has been presented to this community. MBTA project managers have repeatedly shared sound study results that appear incomplete, misleading, and these are results that downplay adverse health impacts on residents. These suspect findings were presented on the Reading delegation to the RTC at the 9:15 community meeting in this past Tuesday select boarding, even after concerns about their accuracy were raised on 9/9. Our request tonight is simple. Grant the RTC group a one-on-one meeting with your board so we may fully educate you on all our concerns facing us, direct abutters, and the entire Reading community. Commission your own health studies like sound, vibration, baseline, air, soil, traffic, any other applicable studies. Some reasons to support this request. Sound study scope was drastically flawed by the MBTA. Most recent MBTA sound study folly, the MBTA lost the data regarding the model of locomotive that was used during the idling test, along with the exact location of a GPS location of that locomotive. Then they will also not supply us with the raw sound study data that we have questions on. Traffic study has been embargoed. We cannot get that info. This health issue facing us residents warrants more of your time. Examples, 2-hour 9:15 community meeting with numerous unanswered questions, 1.5-hour select board meeting where board members and community members still don't understand the full scope of our concerns, 2-hour CONSCOM meeting last night, paused due to time. So thank you for your consideration, and we would really appreciate to get more of your time so we can fully educate you on that. And just, I don't know if you guys happen to notice, but there was an unfortunate train accident in in Andover just today. A railroad, not an MBTA train, but using their tracks. There was an unfortunate accident. I believe the person survived, but long story short, they plan to increase the frequency going through Reading. It is an extreme concern, and the lead project engineer, they want to do 30 minutes. The lead project manager has told me to my face, they want to do it every 15 minutes. That means every.
Sorry, Lucas, your 2 minutes are just up.
Okay, no, that's
Sorry.
fine. Thank you. I added that little extra. My apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prado.
I'm just going to go in the order that I have on my screen. So Aaron, Perry, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to start my camera, but so hey everyone, Aaron Perry, 55 Hancock Street. I wanted to talk a little bit about public health risks from the proposed turnback track, specifically about particulate matter in diesel soot and the NOx emissions all along the Dwell turnback site, but more importantly, the public health along the entire 4,500-foot shuttling segment between the depot and the Dwell location. Because again, it's not just about where it's going to be sitting, it's about that slow-moving train between those two locations. So to be fair, the MBTA has talked about using renewable diesel, but that's a pilot right now, and it's not guaranteed. So if the MBTA does stick with the conventional diesel that they use, we're concentrating older tier diesel exhaust closer to homes, environmental justice communities, conservation land, and Parker Middle School. Even at low speeds, locomotives emit these fine particulates that drive asthma, cardiovascular disease, they pose cancer risks, and NOx that forms ozone and secondary particulates. The proposed MBTA turnback track is going to shift exposure from a brief pass-by to longer, localized plumes, a pattern that has been shown to cause pollution hotspots. The MBTA also presented charts that show how fine particulate and NOx emissions will change with a switch to renewable diesel. And while these fine particulates decrease, there will be material higher annual NOx emissions. And even if these totals remain under permitting thresholds, health risk is all about where the pollution lands. So to kind of help illustrate the amount of particulate and NOx emissions that these trains will emit over that 4,500 feet of turnback track, you can think about it this way. Every half hour that a diesel train is sitting and inching forward on that track, it's similar to 200 semi trucks or 200 cars idling in the neighborhoods. For particulate matter, it's more like 250 modern pickup trucks idling. All I'm asking tonight is that the Board of Health request an independent air quality and health impact review of this project so the residents, students, and other environmental justice compromised populations will actually understand what they're going to be breathing before it's built. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Okay, next will be Allie Hetler, if you'd like to speak.
I did not submit a comment before the 5 o'clock deadline.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Allie Hetler, 12 Hancock Street. Along with the rest of, my fellow neighbors, I have a lot of concerns about the trains idling. I'm not nearly as researched on Aaron on some of the, science behind it, but I have 2 small children. One is just born last year. We live right next to the middle school. My neighbors are the Tannerville residents right across the street, which is, an EJ community. So yeah, it's just more of a concern on my neighbors and my children and how I'm going to raise my family here with an idling diesel train in my front yard. So I just hope that this board will take those concerns seriously. We feel like, we're not really being heard. And this definitely poses a health risk to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Christine Parks, if you'd like to speak.
Hi, thank you. Christine Parks, 35 Hancock Street, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak. I just have a couple of questions for your consideration as you review this proposal related to the MBTA turnback, which, as you've heard, results in idling and slow-moving diesel fuel trains for hours a day in the conservation area, the EG community, Parker, and behind our homes, right up against our backyards, which drastically increase the pollutants in our air and the noise around our homes. Under the Nuisance Abatement Authority, my question is, how will the health-related complaints be logged, investigated, and resolved? And I would like to suggest that a service-level agreement-based complaint protocol be adopted for transparent public reporting of outcomes. I also given the increased noise and emission levels of pollutants we'll be experiencing daily, under your oversight mandate, how will post-construction health outcomes and mitigation performance be verified? And if I may, I would like to suggest that you consider commissioning independent audits at 6-month intervals for 3 years after startup, and that you publish the results and corrective actions. Thank you for your time and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, next will be David, if you'd like to speak.
Okay, I'll speak briefly. My name is David Comito. I live at 21 Woodward Ave, and I have lived here for 48 years. I'm mostly deeply concerned as I stand in solidarity with the other people who have spoken to this point with noise. And I don't know, so I guess I have a just direct question for the Board of Health. Is noise and the extent of noise and the volumes that are going to be generated by this project part of your purview as far as a public health issue? Just plain decibel levels. Is that part of what you deal with? So I guess that's a question. I know you're not supposed to respond. This is not a give and take, but I would ask that you not table that question, that you take it under consideration. Noise pollution to me is, as I enter my dotage years, I'm 75 years old, noise pollution to me is huge. And, quiet enjoyment of my home for the last 48 years on a prospective basis is huge. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
All right, next will be James, if you'd like to speak.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good, because I'm new to this, so bear with me, please. My name is Jim Riley, 87 Hancock Street, Reading. This turnback track will deeply affect me, my family, and many, many other families in the town of Reading. Abutters homes along the turnback track, the Tannerville Independent Living Center, and other Reading homes that are in the environmental justice zone. Increased rail gate closings will cause extreme traffic backups on Woburn Street, Washington Street, Main Street, and Ash Streets, with stationary traffic just idling for a significant amount of time daily. The MBTA trains will be idling and moving slowly to and from the Reading Depot 14 hours a day, 5 days a week, spewing noxious diesel fumes, disturbing life along the route with extreme, deep rumbling sounds that will constantly ruin Reading lives. I'm asking the Board of Health, prior to any town approvals of the NOI, to perform documented air quality tests, including soil sampling tests related to excess diesel fumes. I am also asking the MBTA or the town of Reading to perform documented sound study and vibration tests. If this turnback is approved by the Conservation Commission, I'm asking the Board of Health to require the MBTA to install a sound visual barrier of acoustical material to minimize the extreme sound impacts to Reading residents, such as abutters and those in the environmental justice zone. I am also asking the Board of Health to work with the Reading Conservation Commission so that our town leaders and state representatives see a unified town leadership in addressing residents' issues and concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next will be Mark, if you would like to speak.
Good evening, Mark Agnew, 23 Lee Street. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. The MBTA has proposed a multi-phase rail modernization initiative that has short and long-term projects to reduce from 45-minute headway to 30 minutes, increasing train crossings by 50%. Electrification is part of the long-term solution, but that's not happening anytime soon. So we are stuck with diesel. One portion of that larger project is spending $11 million to build 1 mile of track north of Reading Station so empty trains can slowly pass through residential neighborhoods and EJ community and idle for 7 hours per day on our protected water aquifer zone before turning around. Police and fire chiefs have expressed grave concerns about public safety. There's only one ambulance in town, so getting to the south side of town with over 60 gate closings per day, that's a significant impact. Now, the MBTA has had no oversight, zero, when this board asked them in February to perform an impact study, the MBTA simply said no. Last month, they presented a chart showing NOx emissions doubling, even assuming biodiesel. So what if they can't get the fuel? What's the pollution impact with regular diesel? As Lucas mentioned, they did a sound study that was equally inadequate. Nobody is overseeing that. As a reminder, the Conservation Commission is operating under the premise they have no jurisdiction over sound, pollution, and safety, only wetlands vegetation. So who's providing oversight protecting human health? My ask is as follows. In accordance with 301 CMR 11.04, I would like a fail-safe review ordered by the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs, in which an environmental impact report be submitted documenting the increased pollution, sound, public health and safety impacts for the entire rail modernization project, including all its phases, and stipulating enforceable requirements that were assumed by the MBTA, such as, the need for renewable biodiesel and shortened crossing durations. I asked to see this board exert its influence to protecting human health from the consequences of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark.
All right, next is Mackenzie, if you would like to speak.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Mackenzie, 49 Hancock Street. I'm again commenting about the MBTA turn back track. I'm the mom of 2 small children and am wildly concerned about the implication for my children's health and wellness. As everyone may have heard, my backyard hits the train track. So every single day, my family and I will hear trains rumbling in and out that are completely empty. I am asking you, under nuisance abatement authority, how will health-related complaints like the ones that I plan to file be logged, investigated, and resolved? My ask for you, and my plea for you, and I ask that you commission an independent audit at 3-month varials for 3 years of startup, publish results, and have corrective action in place before any train can run through our town.
All right.
Thank you.
Next. Sorry.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
Next will be RHA Guest, if you'd like to speak.
Hello. My name is Robert Levy. I'm at 29 Frank Tanner Drive. And can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My thing is, they supposedly did a 6-hour, 2-day noise study. My suggestion is that we have an independent noise study for at least 2 or 3 days. I mean, you can't do a 6-hour study. It's inadequate. You can't. How are you going to do it? And they were misplaced over places where there was no people there at all. Now, we about the tracks. It's right behind us, and we try to talk to each other, and you can't even hear each other, which is an impact on your hearing. And also, we have people here that have asthma and other respiratory illnesses. And with the diesel, that's just going to impact more. It's not going to help us at all. And I think the board, like I said, should have an independent sound study other than the MBTA, because they can regulate it any way they want. And they can, have things done in a way that we're not going to understand. So I feel that the Board of Health and our Reading political leaders should shut this down, not even let it go through, or do a very, very strict sound study and health study so we can have a real, true reading of what's going on. And I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
All right, next will be Sal Russo, if you'd like to speak.
This is Linda Russo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, most of what I wanted to talk about has been talked about already. But I would like to say that I did have a meeting with Katie Gallant at the Reading Housing Authority down at Tanneville today, and she's very concerned about this. Obviously, as Bob just mentioned, the residents are compromised. Some of them already.
We
I think she may have got muted again, but I
Yes,
just
you muted him.
requested to unmute her.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. I didn't say that I lived at 55 Hancock Street. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But in talking with Katie Gallant down at Tanneville today, she was saying how one of the apartments was empty and there were people in there working on it and the windows were open. She had to make a phone call down to that apartment to tell them to do a particular thing. The train came by and idled there and they could no longer have a conversation. So I just wanted to say that no matter what their sound study says is legal or that they're underneath, it's impossible to have a conversation with the train where it will be abutting our houses. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, and I believe the final one, it's by the name of Samsung SM, if you'd like to speak.
Is the resident unmuted, Haley?
So I have to ask them to unmute themselves, so I don't
Oh.
know if they're just not present at their screen.
Okay.
Or if you're calling in by a phone that's not a smartphone, sometimes that you have to I think it's maybe *6 or something that you have to press.
Oh.
Yeah, *6 is what you can try, or they can try.
I think we might need to pass if whatever technical difficulties there are here.
And I don't believe there's anybody after that. I think we've gone through everybody.
Covered everybody, okay.
I mean, there's public services here. I don't know if they're just here to observe, or I can unmute them if they want to say anything.
Could we ask Haley if anybody hasn't gotten a chance to speak, if they could raise their hand and then
Right.
If anybody hasn't spoken, they can raise their hand and I can unmute you. I think it's
Samsung
looking good.
Yeah, Samsung went away.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay, well, let's move on in terms of the agenda. And welcome, Kevin. We moved the item number 7, the MBTA turnaround, to follow public comments, so we can kind of have a discussion while it's all fresh in our minds. And so I guess I can open the discussion. I mean, I think as I listen to these comments, and particularly focused on the noise / vibration and the air quality issues, what I keep hearing, and I think there's it's understandable, is that there's questions about the data that the MBTA has produced regarding these two areas of public health. And that's clearly a problem. It's unfortunate that, you know, the MBTA didn't engage the community in the design and analysis of these studies. And, you know, the studies that were done and that we've seen on their presentations, what we're really seeing is the end result of their interpretation of the data that we don't quite know how or agree with all the data they got. And so it's a long way from feeling comfortable because we didn't participate in the design of the study and had our concerns, you know, addressed then. And then the studies were done and the detailed data isn't available. And then there's an interpretation on the part of the MBTA that in their presentations, which we don't necessarily understand or agree with. So I think the residents have brought up a number of points. And it's really hard to have a discussion if you don't really agree with the outcomes. Now, from my perspective as the Board of Health, there are thresholds that have been established in the state around air quality and around noise. And yes, for the resident who asked, noise is part of our purview in terms of public health, noise abatement. So there are established thresholds, and we're told in those presentations by the MBTA that they're under those thresholds. And in fact, they don't need to report that to either NEPA or the Department of Environmental Protection if their studies show that. So there's no secondary review of the information. So this is a conundrum, because from my perspective, and as I said before, unless you can agree with the data and what the data shows, it's hard to know what the next, you know, step is. So what I would say is that we could consider a couple things, and I'm anxious to hear what other board members think. You know, one would be writing a letter to the Conservation Commission stating that unless we have the detailed data and analyses, and not just for the noise study, but also for the air quality, like how did they get those, you know, tons per year? Like how did they do those calculations? And was it based on which locomotive? Because I understand now there's a couple different locomotives that have, you know, potentially different air quality profiles. That if we don't get that data within the next, you know, 10 days, and they have repeatedly assured us that they were going to send it, but we haven't had it, that, you know, they should not approve this project. The second thought I had listening, which is that, you know, the question is whether we should hire a consultant to do some analysis, not only of the MBTA data, but also potentially recommend, you know, what kind of studies we would need to do to be comfortable ourselves that the noise is, you know, will not be a problem, and the air quality issues will be addressed. And it is concerning that the nitrous oxides are so high. And my understanding is there are ways to mitigate high nitrous oxide levels in the air. in terms of additives to the diesel fuel or, certain types of filters or catalytic converters that you can use. And I haven't heard anything from the MBTA, for instance, about that. So those would be the two things, insist that we get the data, the detailed data, and the and then, of course, the noise data we would want to see. And if we don't get that, then I don't think they should, our recommendation might be, and I'm just proposing this and throwing it out, that they don't approve it, until that is available. And that secondly, we ought to consider getting a consultant ourselves to both analyze the MBTA data, and if it's found inadequate, to do our own particular study. I don't know if that's come up in either a town hall or in the select board, but that would seem reasonable. So questions, ideas based on what we've heard and what we've heard over the last 2 days at various meetings. Carrie.
Okay. Surprise. So first, I want to thank all the folks who've taken time to contact us, and I appreciate the level of detail and research that is evident in people's comments. It's helpful for us to hear that. Our job is to consider the impact on public health, and we need more than we don't think this is a good idea to hear that, to be able to assess the impact on public health. And I appreciate folks having taken that seriously and come to us with some concrete suggestions and some important observations about the population that'll be impacted by this, and the gaps that they note in the information that's been provided. And yet, just to echo Rick, Chapter 111 under sections 31C and section 122, local boards of health are empowered to address issues of nuisance noise being categorized under there as well. And the authority is with Department of Environmental Protection at the state level, but we would work with them. So we do have the authority for this. I think that the questions that have been raised are enough for me to agree and suggest that we investigate having our own study done, and at least having the studies provided done. I think we are at a disadvantage because the requirement for the sound study is that the applicant undertake it. There's no feedback loop for regulation, but we can look at the results and say we have questions and we would like further information. And I think too, so I guess there's a couple stages. It's sort of so first, are we confident in the information that has been provided? And are we doing our due diligence to be sure that the public's health is protected, both in issues of air quality and of noise impact? And then, the question with the Conservation Commission, I appreciate the Conservation Commission saying that they don't have jurisdiction over our issues. That's good, that's appropriate. And I am pleased that they have deferred to us. And I think, yes, agreed, Mr. Chair, that we suggest to the Conservation Commission that we have concerns on these areas, that these are the recommendations that we would have, that we would like to review the existing data, that we would be very interested in possibly retaining a independent consultant to do a study for the town of our own. And to the extent that we have the ability to, request information timely from MBTA, I think that would be important as well. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Karen.
Yep.
Other thoughts or comments?
Right. I would like to, get together with the residents around the area as well, because, they did a lot of work. I think we should hear them out. They have a lot of good information for us, and determine what's under our privy. And then we'll, get our strongest points together and go back to the MBTA with them. Our power suits, the noise. I think the soot from the diesel engines is a really big issue. That it's air quality, noise quality, air quality is the same thing. And my, if that's under our privy, I think we go after that as well.
Can I hop
Yes.
back? Because I do that, sorry.
ahead.
Just, I guess it's a question of, I agree, I appreciate the request to share information with us. I guess I'm not sure whether that makes it, maybe it would be more appropriate to work with an independent consultant on that and share that information so that we have professional feedback and then can have a conversation with the residents and the experts. None of us is an expert, as
Right.
far as I know. None of us is an
Yeah.
expert in air or noise. I know that it is within our purview, and I'd hate to kind of get I'd like the sequencing to be good. So I agree, Sal, that we should meet with them, but maybe we sequence it a little bit different.
Pull people in, yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin?
Yeah, sorry I was late, everyone. First of all, thank you to everybody that showed up and voiced your opinion. I know it's been a long week for you all with many meetings, so thank you. I think you put it perfectly, Rick. I think this is a very simple solution. I liked you taking it even one step further by having a letter sent to the ConsCon in regards to not approving it until we have satisfied on our end what we feel is a safe environment. And to that end, there's only one way we can do that, and that is to get our own consultant. I think it starts with, here's the data if we get it from them. Here's the data that they have. What are your thoughts on it? And that's going to lead us in a direction from that consultant, most likely to, well, there's questions here. We should really expand upon this. And so I think it's a step-by-step process, right, to kind of get to the correct answer. And I think it also puts the MBTA, I noticed that, like, hey, we're taking this pretty seriously. When this is not just going to be, you show us the data that you liked and we're happy about it. No.
Exactly.
I think you have to get somebody to look at it. And like Kerry, you said, we're not professionals. We certainly can't look at, even if we get the data, we certainly, we don't have the backing to go back to the MBTA and say, we don't like your data. Well, who are you, right? You're not an expert. So I think we have to get the expert is what it comes down to.
I agree.
I agree also.
And co-sign everything that was said.
So I guess the next step would be, how do we go about that?
Right, exactly.
Do we have to do that at the board level? Or can a day just unilaterally just go out and get one?
First of all,
Expert.
we don't have endless funding.
Right.
We have some funding.
Mhm.
We would also have to put it out for a bid, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That would be the starting point.
Okay. There is a town meeting coming up. So from a funding standpoint, there is always an emergency amount that does not have to go in an article already. It's something that can literally come up at town meeting to try to fund something. So there's, you can talk to Matt, town manager, in regards to that. So
we currently have some funding at the moment.
okay.
We do have funding.
You think
So-
it's adequate funding for our costs, for the anticipated costs today?
It could be, but we would have to find out.
You don't know until you get the bids back.
Right.
That's right.
Correct.
And how
Well,
long
if
does the
we
bidding
wanna make-
process take? Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, John.
It depends on.
How long does it take?
It just depends on what we put on the listing. So if we say 7 days, then it's going to take 7 days.
Oh,
we
it
say
could be that
3,
quick.
correct.
It just, you know, you hate to.
Yeah,
have
I mean, there are
a long,
publishing
drawn-out
requirements
process.
and the like, but yeah, I mean, we could do an expedite, but I think we need to make sure that we get our scope of work correct. And are clear. Oh, is everybody frozen?
You're frozen.
That's you.
You know.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
oh,
everybody
just
else-
me.
Yeah.
You all were frozen, and I was like, wow, look at them all. Sorry. I want to make sure we get our scope of work well drawn so that we are not boxing out areas that would be important to include in the consultant's work. So I think there's probably a little bit of work to do with procurement in terms of maybe finding a representative, another
Consultant.
kind of sound study bid, you know, that has been issued, that we can make sure that we're asking the right things.
So
I have been
So-
part of contracts that we have not actually asked for the things, all of the things that we needed, and it then requires going back out to bid and adding on. So I'm cautious about making sure that we're just using the right language. And so that would be part of my charge to you, I guess, a day would be working with whoever you need to get the language right to procure an expert for us.
Okay, so, and would you be able to make a motion and just give me clear instructions? You know, like an umbrella instruction that I can go by?
Okay.
that's a good question. I don't know that we could we?
Yeah, we can do a motion.
We can,
I would propose the following motion, and feel free to add or subtract from it. I would make a motion that we charge a day with drafting and posting a proposal for an expert consultant regarding the MBTA project around the issues of air quality and noise and vibration. And that he seek input from board members in finalizing that, and also seek input from the Turnback Committee about elements that might be in this proposal. And that secondarily, and then he posted, and we work with the specialist around this. And then secondly, that he notify the Conservation Commission that that we're concerned about the health impact, and we would advise them not to approve until we have the data and the results of our independent review. And also inform them that we are moving ahead with a consultant around the particular health issues of noise and air pollution. So that would be sort of a two-pronged: post the position with input from the committee, from the board, as well as the turnaround committee, and then secondly, inform the Conservation Commission that we would advise them not to approve it until we've gotten the raw data from MBTA, and we got the results of our own analysis. So that would be the proposal. Any additions or subtractions from that, Carrie?
friendly amendments. Can we change advise the Conservation Committee to ask the Conservation Committee? I'm not sure of our authority of directing their thing. Maybe that's too conservative. I'm open to feedback, but I mean, I think notifying them that we have our concerns and so forth, and that we would ask that they give us time, that there be time to have all of those aired. And then can we say a day, we want a day to work with the appropriate folks in town hall, including assistant town manager, whomever on procurement work, so that he's not drafting and issuing all by himself.
Well, it always goes through procurement anyway, but yes.
Exactly, right. But just for clear, right. I mean, just, you know, that he work with procurement and ATM and town council, anybody needs to get this to happen. Yeah. Thank you, Rick. That's a nicely summarized.
Yeah, on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Any other changes? So that motion's on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Sal second. Okay, vote Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. Is that clear enough charging orders a day?
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. And, you know, I mean, if there's a compelling reason to meet before our next regularly scheduled November meeting around this issue, we can do that. But I think we need to get our ducks in order and get the information and so forth.
Yeah, that was definitely the right order. Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah. Okay. Aday, you wanna go over the hauler regulations revisions?
Yes, so we discussed this at the last meeting. The board raised some questions regarding some parts of the section 4-2 and 4-3. We're still working on finalizing the regulations. It was recommended to us that we put a pause on it till a new trash and recycling contract has been executed. Based on my understanding, there are a few trash and recycling contracts that will be going before the select board in a couple of weeks for review and execution. So once we get that executed contract, I will meet with DPW leadership to ensure that the regulations are consistent with the newly executed contract. In other words, we don't want to put something out there that's totally different from what the new contract is, and you know, it won't make any sense. So
Okay, great. Because that was my exact question. I'm looking at reading through it again. I'm like, wait a minute. we should either give this to the company so they can base their bids around the parameters for, or as you say, adapt it to whatever the contract is. Okay.
Yeah.
My concern.
And I right. I mean, I think I share the concern, Kevin, and it makes me a little uncomfortable to say we're going to wait to have our regulation finalized until the contract's done, because I don't want to preference what the contract holder is, you know, wants. I want the regulations and what we think is best for the town to govern. But I'm going to trust that the health department and the DPW are working together, and that there's an awareness of what it is that we want to have in place for our community, and that we will come out to the same conclusion. I get what we're trying to do. I just don't love saying, well, we'll wait and make the rules after the contract's done, because I don't want the bidders to be the one kind of wagging the tail. But
well, I mean, in general, Carrie, if we decide to whatever we decide to put out there after the fact, they're going to have to adapt.
Right.
That's just the reality of it for them. So, you know, that's why I'm not that bothered by it.
Right.
But maybe the right course of action, though, is to give them a heads up while they're bidding, you know, what we're thinking. So that's a kind of that's a double-edged sword. That's a leverage point, quite frankly, for the select board, you know, to have, and, you know, maybe we give them the option a day.
correct. For me, it's, you know, given the fact that they've been operating for decades without having to get a permit from the Board of Health, I don't think we should just come and then impose whatever it is on them. You know, I think that would be a drastic change in their operations. You know, we just have to be reasonable. That's the way I see it.
And that's why you're the director and I'm just a board member. Or what? That's a very rational position, but, okay.
So we're going to table this? Is that?
So I have actually some comments on what you sent out, which is still a draft, right? And
Right.
so, let me just, and if anybody else has comments, they can either give them now or send them to a day. One is in, section 4.3.1 E, where it says the hauler shall inform customers how to prepare recyclables consistent with requirements. And when you say cut, I'm thinking this is what the DPW has done. You know, you go on their website and it tells you, you know, what you need to do around recyclables. Are we saying that the customer is DPW? Are we saying that the hauler needs to reach out to thousands of residents and educate them?
Okay, I think Haley is about to put it up.
Oh, okay.
So I can understand what exactly you're saying.
Can everybody see it?
Not yet.
There
Now,
we
yeah,
go.
yep.
Yep.
So it's
What section was it?
It's 4.3.1.
Could you blow that up too, Haley, please?
Is that better?
Yep. So it's
4.1?
yeah, it's paragraph E,
Okay.
the second sentence. The hauler shall inform customers how to prepare recyclables. Are we saying that the hauler needs to reach out to residents directly, which seems
okay.
beyond
So
capability?
so I believe they're already doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so if they go to somebody's residence and, you know, they find recyclable items like spread everywhere, not properly contained, they have like pamphlets they can just put
Yep.
the door or like a door hanger. So I believe that's what education means.
Yep. And
I
again,
think-
that'd be part of the contract too. It's part of what they have to do, and they may work it out with DPW in terms of whether DPW puts it in mailers or what. But yes, they have an education requirement that they can work on to get that delivered. So
I think I've seen both. I think I've seen flyers, and I think I've seen them just leave the recycling, and then you kind of figure it out that something's wrong with it.
Yeah.
I've seen it both ways.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And you know, further down, scroll to the next page, Haley, just, yeah, right there. Under G, you know, it talks about what, you know, we just said about, yes, if they don't pick up a recyclable or solid waste, they have to inform the, you know, the resident the reason why they didn't do it. I mean, it would be great if they leave a flyer, either because they didn't pick up an item, a solid waste, or they didn't do your recyclables. I mean, I think that's great. And in that context, I think the hauler should do that because that's around a particular situation and they can just leave the flyer right there. I was just thinking that under section E, it really sounds like it's doing the kind of education that is on the website for DPW. But if you think that's not going to be problematic, then that's fine.
So the way I see it is, you know, it's like getting a parking ticket. You know, you have all the list of violations on one ticket. So in this case, it's going to be a door hanger and you have the list of violations on it and they can just check it. So if they don't pick it up, they can say improper storage, just check it. Or they can say trash not contained, they would have a list on just on one pamphlet. They don't have to have different pamphlets for each
Right.
violation. That's going to be a lot to like carry around with them, but they can just have one, put it on the door, mark it, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Okay. And then just a couple, one or two other things. Under the next section, 4.3.2. Let's see. A residential customer may not contract with a hauler unless otherwise pre-approved by the board. So why would we need to, if a resident, for whatever reason, wants to hire their own hauler, and that hauler has a permit in the town of Reading, why does the board need to approve that resident's choice? Carrie, you have the answer.
So it's that you can't hire somebody unless they've been permitted and approved by the board, right? Just like we talked about, the board a day would give a list of haulers that have been approved, and you need to hire somebody that's been approved. That's
okay. So it's really more pre-approved by the board. It's not that the person's coming to the board meeting.
No.
In the health department, and okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The actual hall is approved, yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly, getting to my pet peeve of returning barrels to their location. I didn't see it in this draft. And I really think it is a safety issue in terms of driving, because sometimes they're left halfway out in the street, and it's an opportunity to correct that problem.
I agree. This is not the final draft.
I know.
We're still working on finalizing everything, and once we get everything done, I'll bring it back to the board, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
So could I circle back real quick to what you had just mentioned, Rick, in regards to having, is that having a private hauler come to take recyclables and trash?
I think that's what that was referring to. I don't know why a residential customer would want that, but if they did, they would have to let the health department know, so we know that the hauler is permitted.
I just want to make sure that it's not. I just want to make sure that it's not in reference to, like, the handyman down the street with his pickup truck taking a bunch of my wood from my house, right? Like, so that's, I want to make sure it carves out that it's specific to.
So there are businesses.
Service.
There are businesses that are required to get their own trash haulers.
Sure.
So those are the people we're talking about. Okay.
I just want to make sure. So a lot of times what happens with these regulations, or I hear this a lot, is that the intention was, that line in town meeting drives me crazy. Well, the intention is this. Oh, great. So 10 years from now, let's hope they know what my intention was. So I just want to make sure that we're specific to that being from I don't know how you'd word it, from like a contractual professional service needs to, standpoint, not from, Joe the handyman helping me remove some things that he's going to take to the dump.
So we are very reasonable over here. We won't do things like that.
Okay, but you see where I'm coming from, right? That it's more specific to a continual service, not just a one-time thing.
Understandable.
Yeah. Okay.
And can I just clarify something as well? I think that I think I heard you say, Rick, that the someone who's hiring somebody has to let the health department know first, and I think that's not how I see it. It's that if there are places that are hiring an independent hauler, there is a list that they need to verify that they have a credential, that they have permit and they've been approved in the town of Reading. And there's not a additional notification or chasing around to say, does health know, does DPW know, whatever. It's a it's just dotting the lines because we're running parallel with DPW, right? You know, they've got the contract, we have some authority over this, and it's saying that the lists that need to be the same. Am I getting that right, Ade?
Correct. So whoever
Okay.
you hire has to be approved by the town of Reading. It's as simple as that.
Yes. Right. And in this instance, it's DPW and health, because as we talked about at the top of the meeting, you will have, you know, information that the folks that are requested a permit, you will send and you'll just say, hey, just so you know, so-and-so holler and this holler, you know, we received their things and we want board approval, and yes, right?
So it's the same thing we do for septic haulers. We have a list
Yep.
of haulers that operate in Reading. So it's
Perfect.
not complicated at all.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay. So we'll be seeing more of this in the coming months.
Correct.
Yeah. Private well regulations.
Okay. So this is just to inform the board that we're working on revamping our private well regulations. Basic requirements and definitions are missing from the current regulation. And the current regulations we have mostly address potable drinking water wells. It doesn't really say much about, you know, non-potable water wells like irrigation wells and geothermal wells. There are no specific setback requirements listed for non-potable water wells. You know, should irrigation wells that are used, you know, for the sprinkler system, should they be at the same standard? Should we require the same things from them as we do for drinking water? Can we be a little bit lenient on irrigation wells since they're not, you know, drinkable? If you have a well just to harvest the heat from the ground, the geothermal, do they need to be tested for chemicals? You know, things like that. We just want to make sure we're reasonable.
Yep.
And then some basic definitions are missing, like, you know, what is on a butter? You know, it's not on there. And then we have people that apply for permits. They send us like 40 lists of 40 names of abutters, all because, you know, that's what they get from the assessor's office. So we need to have, you know, a definition of what an abutter is.
Great.
So I'm working with town council, and I believe that we should have something by the next meeting for review. Yeah, that's it. So it's going to be an amendment to the current regulation that we have. We're not just like getting rid of the current regulation. We're just, you know, adding to it, you know, making it more reasonable, making it work for the town of Reading.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Ade, do we know how many wells we have of any of the types?
Yes, we do. Currently, we have about 366 wells in Reading. I have a list. If you would like me to share with you, I can do that.
Yeah,
and it
thank you.
categorizes each well, you know, drinking, irrigation, geothermal.
That's great. As you know, we don't know, the places don't always have all the data of what all the different things are. So that's great to hear. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, monthly report.
All right. I will go first, and then the public owners leave will go after me. In the month of September, we issued 18 food establishment permits. We conducted 12 food inspections. The health inspector did those. Let's see, she issued 27 temporary food event permits and conducted 11 temporary food event inspections. The health inspector also conducted 1 food complaint and 1 trash complaint. We conducted 3 housing inspections, 1 for oven malfunction, the other one was for overgrowth, and another one was for a screen in disrepair. There was 1 keeping of animals violation, operating without a permit, but that has since been corrected. We had 14 rat complaints. Total catches in September was 39, and 433 catches since we implemented this program. Let's see, we had 1 well construction plan review, 1 tobacco license inquiry, 2 dog bites, and 1 cat scratch. I will now hand it over to Liv for the nursing updates.
Sorry I was late today. I was at a flu clinic at the library, but I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. Welcome to October. Okay, so for the month of September, we had a small decrease in our COVID-19 cases. We had 30 in August and 23 in September. DPH of Massachusetts is recommending all ages receive the COVID-19 vaccine this year. 65 plus is recommending a 2-dose series. So if you are interested, you should definitely get on that. CVS Walgreens has them, and we're also going to have them available at the October 17th Coolidge Flu Clinic. For the month of October and November, these are my blood pressure screening dates. I'll be here on October 2nd, which is past, so the 16th and the 20th, as well as November 13th, November 17th, and November 20th. I'm also available for one-on-one blood pressure screenings if anybody wants to contact me. For September, we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's one of the most common cancers found in women, and I have a video link here to an at-home breast exam tutorial, which we should all be doing daily. It is also Down Syndrome Awareness Month. We're just raising awareness for our individuals with extra abilities in Down syndrome. It is also World Menopause Month, with menopause typically occurring between the ages of 45 and 55, marking the end of our menstrual cycle. October, getting chilly, getting cool, getting ready for that. It's also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. Miscarriage and stillbirths and other conditions can cause pregnancy to end before or during birth. We're going to take the month of October to remember those ones that have lost. And it is also SIDS Awareness Month. SIDS stands for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. I like to preach the safe to sleep, which is put the baby in the crib on a flat, firm surface with nothing in the crib. No blankets, no pillows, no stuffed animals, nothing cute. The only thing cute in the bed should be the baby. Hands-only CPR classes. I had a very successful one on September 8th with 16 residents, and I have a full class on November 3rd, which is amazing. So unfortunately you can't sign up for that one, but I will have new dates coming in 2026 that I look forward to sharing with you all. Our Teen Talk series is going well. We had our first one last month, and I did a CPR class with a bunch of teens. Our next one is going to be talking about different health-related questions, and we are going to be painting recycled canvases. All right, so I have my flu clinics at the Reading Public Library. I just finished this evening my week of flu clinics, so I've been at the library from 4 to 7 every night this week, and I will be back on November 3rd, as well as November 19th and December 10th. The flu clinics are going so well. Ade and I had to order more doses because I was scared we would run out. Which we're about to. I've given over 100 doses so far. We're also going to have 2 clinics at the Pleasant Street Center for our 65 plus community on October 15th and October 29th. feel free to call me to register. As well as at 22 Frank Tanner Drive, also known as Tannerville, on October 16th for all residents. You don't just have to be a resident of Frank Tanner. And then finally, I am offering homebound flu shots. I have my list, and I have given my list a call, but if you or a loved one need a homebound flu shot, please give me a call and I'll schedule a day to come out to you. And lastly, on shots, we've got our vaccine clinics being held at the Coolidge Middle School. We had one on September 26th, which we were able to get almost 200 people at. And then we have one coming up next Friday on October 17th, and then one in November. And then as always, I have my medical and diabetic supplies take-back programs. Please just give me a call if you have anything you would like to donate. Thank you.
Thanks, Liv.
Thanks, Liv.
It's me.
Carrie.
I just thank you for the report, and I think thank you, Ajay and Liv. I know that the vaccination environment has been a little confusing and somewhat unstable, little information, lack of information, and I know from my own work, I know what a challenging environment that is to operate in. And I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for not just the number of shots and arms you get and the number of vaccines you order, but all of this stuff that you go through to make sure that we are cared for. And it's not always easy. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Ajay, can you give just a brief update on next steps on the updated fee schedule, where we're going with that?
So I will be going before the select board. We don't have a date yet, but I will be going before the select board to do a brief presentation regarding what we're trying to do regarding the changes in fees. And once that's completed, I'll come back to the Board of Health. But we have to conduct a hearing prior to that. I know that the board wanted to do it during one of the meetings. If we're able to do that, absolutely. If not, I would send out a doodle poll to the board to see when the members are available, and then we can go from there.
Great. Okay.
Can I,
Yeah.
it just occurred to me, we have, I think, is town meeting going to convene before our next Board of Health meeting? I think, because we have 3 members of the Board of Health who are members of town meeting still, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am. Yeah.
I am.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So just a note that we need to be posted for those.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ajay.
Thank you.
Rather than surprise you and call on Monday the 10th and be like, oh shoot, are we posted?
There isn't a town meeting on
So
the 10th.
Isn't it the 10th?
So you can't, you don't have to post, Kerry. There is no,
we don't?
there is no other meeting during town meeting. There's no other, you can't post. So it's not a whatchamacallit, it's not a conflict for open meeting laws. There can be no
But
other,
isn't it a requirement if we have a quorum that we post?
there can be no other meeting during town meeting.
Right,
So
but we
because
also
of that, we can't.
we call to order. So, all right, I mean, we can, I mean, for example, at the hearing, some hearing we had, we had to call the select board to order because we had a quorum of attendees of the select board present for the hearing held by the Board of Health. So that's what I was referencing in whether we post or not.
Oh, if we're at a select board meeting, you're saying?
No.
The select board.
There was a Board of Health hearing.
Yeah.
We hosted. You sat to my
Correct.
right. No, to my left. And we called the select board to order because there
call it.
was a quorum present. That's
Right.
where I'm coming from. It's
Yeah,
that we'll have
no.
a quorum present.
Correct.
And so we would need to post. So is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
So that's
yeah.
that's right in every other meeting except for town meeting. So if we host
Okay.
a
Thank you.
select board to one of our meetings or vice versa, then we have to call ourselves to
Got
order.
it.
But they don't. It's not allowed during
Got
town meeting. There shall not, and that's a legal term. There shall not be another meeting adjourned during town meeting. So we're relieved of open meeting law if we have to talk about Board of Health things as members.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. Thank you. I learned something new.
And there's no town meeting on November 13th. Is that correct? Because I know they go a couple days and you
Oh,
mentioned.
there probably would. That would be the regular sequence. It would be
So
the
it's
10th and then the
Thursday is
Thursday.
a regular sequence. Monday, Thursday, yeah.
So we'll have to, we cannot meet, to Kevin's
right.
point.
Oh, we
as he's
can't
just
meet in the town meeting, but we can meet.
Right, but we can't meet like this.
No official meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
You may have to push it to the 20th.
Yeah, we'll have to check on the dates and
Yeah.
and see, because sometimes even those are tentative, right? Sometimes
The first 2 nights are usually
pretty
I'm
standard.
sorry.
you're definitely going to be
Yeah.
there. The third night gets iffy. The fourth night is very, very rare. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying if you want, but if you really want to be sure, do it the week before rather than the week after.
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
But that'd be in a couple of weeks. So that timeline may not work to get everything together anyway. So,
Right. Right.
Anything else?
just Haley, just to note that I entered the meeting at 7:25.
Got it.
That's all I
Thank
got.
you.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
Second by Kevin. A vote, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Joan.
Yes.
And Rick, yes. Great.
All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Soon.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night.